This is Rick Rule for Rule Investment Media, sponsors of the 2024 Natural Resources Investment Symposium, held July 7 through 11 in Boca Raton, or via live stream from the comfort and convenience of your own home. A couple notes about that. First of all, we're going to produce between 50 and 60 hours of intense programming, more than you can absorb in the 4 days of the conference. To that end, whether you attend live or via live stream, recordings of the conference will be available to you and should be utilized. Also, to that end, before the conference, I will interview every exhibitor. It's important that you get to know the exhibitor so that you can allocate your time and your resources both before and during the conference more effectively. Don't be afraid to reach out to exhibitors before the conference, learning more about the companies so that you can use your time at the conference more efficiently. Finally, note this: every public company exhibitor at the conference is owned in accounts that are either owned and or managed by myself. While my ownership doesn't guarantee that a share price goes up, it does mean that unlike any other investment conference in the world, every exhibitor here, including the one that I'm about to interview, has been vetted by me personally. Uh, Furthering that interview process, I'm delighted to introduce you to a friend, Benoit La Salle. I am a shareholder of his current effort, Aya Gold and Silver, and I was a beneficiary over a decade of his efforts at Semifo. Benoit, thank you for decades of toil on behalf of natural resource investors. Thank you, too, for your ongoing sponsorship of the Natural Resource Investment Symposium and our related boot camps.
Well, Rick, thank you for inviting us. As you know, it's a real pleasure to participate. You bring a lot of very good oversight of the industry. People respect you. We respect you, and it's an honor to be a part of your family. And look, yeah, we did very well for 20 years in West Africa. Now it's a little bit more difficult out there, but we're in Morocco, and I think that's the new mining district of the world. So thank you for having us, and we will be there throughout the conference, meeting and answering questions.
Well, let's get deeper into that. Let's talk about what you're doing in Morocco. Talk a little bit about Morocco as an investment destination, at least what you found, and just give us an overview of Aya's current production and their development schedule in Morocco.
Yes, thank you. So let's quickly just talk about Morocco. Morocco is a mining country, except it was, restricted to local people for many years. They're the number one phosphate producer in Africa. They have the largest phosphate company in the world called OCP. And it really opened up to the general public or to other mining companies about 10 years ago when Aya starting to put together a portfolio of great assets in Morocco. The beauty of Morocco is it's a very compelling mining code. They like mining companies to come into the country, and the permitting process is simple and quick, which now in our world of mining that is becoming real issue all over the world. Even in Canada, it's becoming complicated. In Morocco, it's very straightforward and very quick. We have two great assets. One called Zgounder, which is a current mine. It produced last year 2 million ounces of silver, so it's a small mine. This year it will produce 3 million, but we're finishing the third plant because there's two existing plants. We're finishing the third plant. Commissioning will start at the end of June, and we will be up and running in Q4 for a complete year in 2025, and that will give us a production of around 7 million ounces at an AISC of $10 an ounce. So low quartile in the cost, 7 million ounces per year of production. We currently have an 11-year mine life, but this is going to grow. We've only looked at one structure out of many. And we control that district. At the mine, we have around 400 square kilometers of ground at the mine and permitted. So this is our first asset. It's completely debugged. All the permits are in place, and we expect that at the current silver price to generate about 120 million of operating cash flow starting in 2025. Our second asset is a cornerstone asset. It's I will use your word generation wealth. Well, that's the kind of asset we have. The second asset's called Boumadine. 2 weeks ago, we've put out our initial resource calculation, and after 16 months of drilling and 94,000 meters of drilling, we publish a resource of 352 million ounces of silver equivalent, but it's 72 million ounces of silver and 2 million ounces of gold. When you put them together, it's 352 million ounces of silver equivalent at a grade of 427. So it's just the beginning of this calculation. As we indicated in the press release, we've touched about 10% of the structures that we have on this. Again, it's another district. So the beauty of being in Morocco is you can own the district. At Zgounder, we own the district, and at Boumadine, we're putting together all the permits so that we own the district as well. So you have two very strong assets in a great jurisdiction, very good grade. At Zgounder, on average, around 240 grams of pure silver, and at Boumadine, above 400 gram per ton of gold and silver on a silver equivalent basis. So it's quite unique to have this kind of exposure.
Benoit, those who are listening might remember Semifo, where you were able, over sort of a 15-year run, to limit dilution, limit share issuance, because you were able to use the free cash flow from each deposit to effectively fund the subsequent deposits. Do you believe that at Aya you will be able to do the same thing, utilizing the free cash flow from the first deposit, first of all, to upgrade the production from that deposit without too much by way of share issuance, and then to fund all or substantially all of the development costs at the second deposit? In other words, can we look forward to the limited dilution that we enjoyed at Semifo?
Absolutely, this is so important, and I think we're one of the few companies that reports ounces per shares. It's we believe in per share. You're absolutely right. We did this at Semifo. We used the first mine, which was called Quiniero, that had a beautiful 5 gram per ton open pit, and we use all that money to fund the other two mines. Here, Zgounder is fully built. I mean, there's 4 or 5 weeks left. It's all paid for. The financing was put in place a year ago, and we are at 130 million shares outstanding, of which the board controls about almost 50% of it. So dilution is a real topic at the board. You know, when you have a board that's almost at 50%, when I come in with the concept of a financing, I can assure you that's a very difficult discussion to have, and it's the objective is not to go back there at all. Is the first mine, Zgounder, will generate over 100 million of operating cash flow. We have very good terms on our debt financing. And Morocco is a country where debt financing is available. Like the 100 million that we took on for Zgounder comes from Morocco. And our second project, whatever the capex will be, the 60% debt requirement will come from Morocco. So it is, bankable. So you're absolutely right. You should not think of Aya as a serial issuer. Very, very unlikely to see another financing. The bankers may not like that much, but sadly, but we are fully funded. And the second project is probably 4 years away from construction, because we need to do a lot of drilling. It's going to grow, every year. The drilling cost is low in Morocco, and we want to increase the resource as much as possible. So once it's time to build that second project, we will have a few hundred millions in the bank, and debt financing is available. So there will be no dilution.
Benoit, I have fielded some calls from people about Morocco as a destination. There are some people who have a difficult time investing outside the United States and Canada, particularly north of the Sahel and in primarily Islamic countries. Can you tell me something about the reception a French Canadian has received in Morocco, and whether or not you consider it to be a socially safe investment destination?
Well, actually, Morocco is very, very special because it's the government there is elected, but the royal family there, they've been there for hundreds of years, and Morocco has ties, very strong ties to the Middle East, but very, very strong ties with Israel as well, because as you know, there's a very strong Jewish community in Morocco, and they have those same ties with United States. So United States was one of the first country to recognize the Sahara, the Western Sahara, as being part of Morocco, and Morocco was one of the first country 300 years ago to recognize United States when the Civil War happened. So there's strong ties between North America and Morocco, and between Europe, obviously, and the Middle East. To tell you how much or how many people live in North America, from Montreal to Casablanca, we have 3 Dreamliners flight every night, 7 days a week. There's 3 flights. So we go Montreal, Casablanca, 3 flights a night. And you have also Montreal, Marrakesh, 3 times a week. So it's a big hub. I would compare Morocco a little bit to Dubai as a hub for travelers and for investment going into Europe and going into Africa. So it's a very stable country. It's a beautiful country, great infrastructure, access to power. You know, at the mine, we have green power coming from the grid at 7 cents per kilowatt hour from wind and solar. So it is quite unique as a country to have all this infrastructure and unbelievable geology. So I think when people look at Morocco, and you're right, it's sometimes for North American investing in Africa, it's not what they like. But you've got to look at Morocco as almost like being part of Europe. It's 14 kilometers from Spain, so it's really more investing in Europe without the old mentality of no mining, ESG, or all the movement against mining. In Morocco, the movement is pro mining. They want you to go and to develop. So it's got the momentum of Africa, but it has the infrastructure and the education and the workforce of Europe.
Uh, Finally, Benoit, I remember at Semifo that local and community relations were an important part of your business plan, building a local consensus and local license to operate. I remember during the earthquake in Morocco, as a shareholder, I called you fairly quickly to find out how Aya had fared through the earthquake, and I was delighted to hear you talk immediately about Aya's efforts to assist the communities that were affected by the earthquake. Could you talk something about that effort and also about your ongoing efforts to generate local license to operate?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, at Semifo, we were at the forefront of the ESG movement. At the time, we called this CSR, corporate social responsibility, but we were at the forefront of that with the Semifo Foundation. We took the same team, the same people, and we recreated not a foundation this time because Morocco is a different stage of development, but we are present in the area where we operate the mines for education, medical support, but the difference is Morocco is very well structured. So you work with the government agencies and you work with them and assist them, and we have all the programs in Morocco. We support the saffron agriculture, which is very interesting, as we did in West Africa, with sesame seeds and things like this. So we are very much involved. And when the earthquake occurred, we were sheltered a little bit because we're in the older parts of the Atlas Mountain, and the earthquake was in kind of the northern part of the Atlas Mountain. So we had no damage at the mine, but our equipment, our loaders, and a significant amount of money was immediately deployed for the villages around us on the other side of the first mountain range where they were hit badly, and around an area called Amismiz. So we were there, our teams were there. And so immediately what we did is we let go all of our employees so they could go back home and see what kind of damage they had, their families, if everybody was okay. We stayed shut down for a couple of days. Then people started coming back because they had no issues at home. Some who had issues, we helped them, and we immediately helped the communities. And we were part of the reconstruction program put together by the government. So we participated in that reconstruction program as a a good corporate citizen in the area where we operate. So it was a very big earthquake, and it created a lot of damage. But honestly, Morocco is coming out of this very, very quickly.
Finally, Benoit, thank you for your restaurant recommendations in Quebec City. Thank you, too, for your ongoing efforts on behalf of natural resource investors like myself, going back decades. And thank you for your sponsorship of the Natural Resources Investment Symposium. Should our attendees want to learn more about Aya Gold and Silver, and I would encourage them to do that, who do they contact and how do they reach that person?
So on our press release, we had one this morning on Boumadine. So on our press release, which we have on our website, or you have on any site, you will see my name is there and my email address is there. And Alex Ball, who is VP Corp Dev and Investor Relations, same thing. His name is there, his email address, and we're very, very quick. We will get back to you. If people want to talk to us, they just send us a note. We'd like to have a discussion with you. We will call you right back. We're very, very quick at this, and I put my name and Alex puts his on every press release, and we are I would say pretty good at this, because after 28 years, we know that this is what matters. I mean, we can be as good as possible running the mines and getting understanding the geology, but we need to make sure that there's people out there that follow us and understand, our strategy and where we want to take this company. So we take as much pride and as much effort in managing our market as we do managing our mines.
Benoit, once again, thank you. I look forward to hosting you in Boca Raton.
Thank you so much. And the restaurants recommendation are even better in Morocco. So when you're ready, let me know. We will go together.
Thank you.
Thank you.